So you can see all the levels here with the the level heights for each of them, and you've also got the ceiling heights here you can see as well. But it's important here just to think about the main floor levels, and it's a good rule of thumb just to have a level for each floor or each main floor, and then also a level for the roof. But also, if you have a wall above that or anything else, any other major feature that's above the height of your roof, then it's also a good idea to have a level for that. And parapets will be the most common, where you need a level that's above your main roof height. So here I'm going to need an extra 3 levels, and going into Revit, that's really the all you need to know initially. But it's also a good chance to set up the views. So looking at the elevation there, I've just gone to the north elevation, and I can see that the levels, maybe you're going over my building a little bit, so I'll just take them to one side, and doesn't hurt to have a look in the other views to get an idea how they look in all of them. So east and west, north and south are mirror images of each other, so they work together. And then I can draw my new level in any of those views. So just using the level tool that you have on the architecture tab. Sorry? Yeah, that's fine. Yep. And so I'm going to just make my extra level. So I need an extra floor level. And notice there I'm using the extension line, which you'll get once you've lined it up with the levels below. And if you draw it with that extension line, then automatically it'll be locked with the padlocks at the end, and that can make it easier when you're adjusting them. So I've got the extra floor level. This level is going to be for my roof, and then another final level for the parapet. Okay, so now I can adjust them all. I'm going to just press escape so I can select any of those, and then looking at my height, so level 1, 4, 5, 6, 0 is all I need to change there. Level 2 is 8, 6, 9, 5. Level 3 needs to have its name changed, so it'll be the roof. And when, again, just remember, when you're asked to rename corresponding views, always say yes. And it means that your plan view over here is going to correspond to your level name, which it should. And then 12,560 is the height for that one. And then the final level, parapet. Yes, to rename, and what is it? 14,000. Okay, so then looking at these views, you can see the reference planes are still just going up to above level 1, which is the only level we had, or the highest level we had before. So now, if you like, you could stretch those to go all the way through. It's only a little thing, but it can help when you're working with them later. So what that'll do, if I show you in plan now, is at least bring those reference planes through to that level. So you can see the ones that I've stretched have come through, the ones that I haven't stretched haven't come through. So in the other elevation, it's easier to see them. So just the little things like this, just keeping on top of everything and keeping it tidy will make your life easier. So that's an easy one to miss. I had a reference plane under the wall there, but I selected it with a window going left to right, and just making sure I didn't go over the entire wall. So again, in the plan view, now I can see these reference planes coming through on that side, but notice I don't have any on this side. And you might think, well, I can go to the the west elevation, and see them there. But of course we can't, because this elevation's at a slight angle to the wall. It's not perpendicular to it, like this elevation. So the south elevation, where I was looking before, I could see these reference planes because it's perpendicular. So I really need an elevation for this wall. And they're easy to make on the View tab. You can get to the elevation tool. And then it'll find objects nearby. So you can see as I move that cursor around, it's changing direction to face the nearest object, which is a really useful feature. And so going to that wall, you can see it's gone at a slight angle as opposed to what it would be if it was near this other wall on the right, which is straight. This one's at a slight angle, so you can see it's angled to face that wall. And that's what I want. So I'm just going to place it near that wall, and then you can always come back later and move it away if you need to. So I'll just do that. And then double clicking on the arrowhead, like any view, will open it. So there I can tell that the reference planes are just visible under the walls. There they are. And so I can stretch them. And that's a real trick. People using Revit at first will often think that you can't possibly adjust those things because you can't see them from the side, but you can always see anything from the side in Revit as long as you get the right angle. Okay, so there we are. Once that last one's stretched, then if I go to my plan, now I can see all of those reference planes. And then looking in the 3D view, well actually I don't have any 3D views yet, but I'll make one now using the 3D house, default 3D view. And I can select all of the walls then just by making a window around them. And I'll change the top constraint to parapet. Just bring them all up. And then the levels, if you look in the interior, well first I'll just go back to the ground floor. And then you can see I've got my section line running through the middle of the building. So you'll need to make sure that you do to see the next thing. If I go to the section now, then you can see firstly that it's not showing all of the building. So I'm going to adjust that now that I've got the whole scope of the building, or the entire three-dimensional size of it. I can use the crop region now to just stretch that so it's big enough for the building. Oh, I've only got one section, so just section one. Yep. Yep. And then, so you can see there that I don't have any floors. I've got the walls being cut. And so then to put some quick floors in, just to get an idea of your floor heights, the ground floor you can just very quickly put in something under the walls. So just using the regular floor tool. It doesn't really matter which floor you use initially, probably just generic 300 first. You could leave it on, with pick walls, leave it extending to wall to core turned on, and then I'm going to pick the outside of all of these walls, not worrying about the piers for now, so just on the main wall, tick to finish. So I've gone to the outside edge of the wall there, that's the most important thing. And in the section, then you can see that we've got a floor sitting under the walls. And then in the level 1 floor plan, I'll do basically the same thing. I'll make a floor again, but this time I'll pick on the inside of those walls and tick to finish. Yes, generally when you ask this question about cutting geometry. And then to quickly copy that floor up to the next next two levels, you can use copy to clipboard in the clipboard panel, and then paste align to selected levels, and then choose levels 1 and roof. If you hold down control, you can do that. So not level 1, level 2 and roof. So there we are. So then looking in the 3D view, you can see now it's got a a floor essentially for the roof, and that's okay with a project like this. That final level essentially can function like a floor, and you can even use it as a deck. So looking in the section now, we've got floors, which are obviously sitting on each level, and then just a final little thing to give you or graphics that you'd want for existing drawings like this. In the wall, you can see you've got the grey hatch there. So I'll just show you how that's set. If you go to Edit Type, you'll see it's in the coarse scale fill pattern. It's got solid fill, and then the colour, 128, 128, is grey. So I'll do the same with the floor. Okay, so there, with the floor selected, Edit Type, and then you've got coarse scale fill pattern. So I'll set that to the same thing, to solid. And then coarse scale fill colour, 128, 128, 128. I want it to be exact, so I'm going to get that. Sometimes you do have to type it in, which is tedious, but well, maybe they'll fix it one day, but still, that's just something you have to do. And so now they should all look the same as the floor. Oh yeah, if you're wondering why this is showing without the line, it's just the joining. So these automatically, or didn't get automatically joined like the first one, but I can always manually do that. Have to do it both sides. So there we are. So that'll give you a pretty good starting point for the main elements in the building.